Okay guys, so today I'm going to be doing what if Deku had eyeless Jack's powers, part 1. This is going to be a redo. I did this before, months ago, and yeah, I'm going to be redoing it. So, before we get to the video, play the intro.
I can never look behind me, never love a bitch, I don't care about no crying. She up on my nuts, but I know that she is lying. Don't care about
me on my mind, liquor on the seat, cold 45, I be gunning for the peace, dropping knees for me, you can't hold no peace with me, I just need money, you can't put no leash on me, I got too many demons on me, I just down more, I ain't tryna think, thinking how long before I get a lead, won't be too long till a motherfucker sink, I be twisted, how the fuck you call this living? Write a life from a prison when I ain't left in.
Okay guys, so like I've said, I'm going to be doing what if Deku had eyeless Jack's powers. My fucking head hurts. Anyway, so before we get to the what if, just a few things about Deku's dad. Deku's dad was a scientist, and he was researching all types of things, fourth dimensional things, and stuff like that. But one day, he basically found out too much, and he died. And Deku was there with him. And yeah, so the whole lab basically exploded, and Deku barely managed to get out of there. But unfortunately, his dad died. And so after that, Deku always wanted to find out who his dad and stuff like that. And so Deku did a lot of research. He still couldn't find nothing until he got to, and basically he kept trying to find out things, but it just was not working. And when he got to middle school, he basically decided to join the join the supernatural club to investigate things. Oh, I mean, not to join, create. So he created it, and at the minute, nobody really joined at first. Within a couple months later, it was about to be disbanded because nobody was really coming. 2 people came in. This one dark-haired blue kid. This one dark blue-haired kid was pretty tall, and this one girl who had brown hair. And so they basically they basically just examined everything around. They saw a whole bunch of books. There's a whole type of shit. And so that piqued their interest. Yeah, so that piqued their interest, and so they. My fucking head hurts. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, so they piqued their interest, and they basically asked if they could join the club. Deku said sure, and basically gave them 2 clipboards to fill out the information, stuff like that. The blue-haired dude name was Ryu, and the girl's name was Kizumi. Anyway. And so they joined, and yeah, nothing really happened until a day later. They came in,
and so they basically like asked like what are they supposed to do, and Deku basically said that like research stuff about supernatural stuff like that, and maybe like probably like explore the supernatural findings, stuff like that. And so yeah. And so a couple months, like 1 month later, another person comes in, and they also join too. It's another girl. She has dark red hair, and her name is Haruhi. Susan Mia. I can't think of any names. Anyway, so yeah, her name is Suzumiya. And so Suzumiya joins, and yeah. So eventually, after like a couple weeks, they find information about this abandoned church. And what's near it was these woods that nobody really ever gone into, because at night there it was pitch black, and you could barely even see with a cell phone light or a really good flashlight. So everybody just decided not to go there. And so they went into the church, and there's really nothing out of the ordinary. Until after they recently looked everywhere and were about to leave, Ryu accidentally basically fell into his bookshelf and opened this door. And so everybody was surprised. And so he basically went over to you, basically asked what happened. He basically said that he fell into a bookcase. And so he fell into a bookcase, and yeah, that was really all. So they walked into the door with flashlights and cell phone lights. So they walked in there. There was just a whole bunch of books around, and he basically decided to take them. But when they're like really fucking dusty, and when they wiped off the dust, they were stuff about satanic rituals, Satan in general, sacrifices, stuff like that. And so they decided to so they decided just to leave one there. However, one of them that basically had all information about it. That person was Kaizumi. So Kaizumi took it, and they went back. And so they basically like posted all types of stuff and logs on documents, and then printed them and basically put some stuff on online about the abandoned church, about satanic ritual books, all types of stuff, how there was a secret door, and there might be even more, but they decided to leave. So nobody really believed them, because nobody really believed them in this day and age. Anyway, so yeah. Fast forward a couple months, and it's near the end of the school. It's near the end. It's near the end of middle school. Like a week away from it. Yeah, like a month or a week away from it. And so basically like everybody else parted that was part of the club, basically invited Deku. Oh yeah, there's also a teacher there, since that's what you need to have a club. You need at least 4 members and a teacher who can approve of it. Anyway, so yeah. Oh god. So they basically invited Deku out to the woods that was near there. Deku kind of thought they wanted to explore it, so he thought, what the hell of it. So he went with them and basically asked where they were. He basically was like, he basically looked around and didn't see them, and so he basically called them spawns. So Deku saw a flashlight, so he went over there, and it was pretty dim, but it was just enough so that he could see. So he walked over there, and as soon as he walked over there, he got stabbed straight in the chest. Well, back actually, but still. And it almost pierced through his chest. And so Deku coughed up blood. And while he was holding the knife, he looked behind him to see nothing. And Deku fell to the floor. A couple hours later, he woke up and he was on a he was on a crucifix, and his hands were bound, and so were his legs. And so, yeah, they basically patched it up a little bit, just enough so that he wouldn't die. And he looked around him and he saw these people in dark reddish cloaks, and he basically was like yelling, what the fuck do they want, stuff like that. And they were just saying all types of malicious, fuck, like, I can't pronounce that word, malicious things, and how they were going to sacrifice them to their god. And Deku was thinking, what the fuck is wrong with these people's minds? And so they were starting to burn Deku, and Deku was just wondering, what the fuck is happening, like, why is this happening to me, and just like yelling to stop and stuff like that. Then he slowly starts to cut open Deku's chest, and Deku sees this thing that's just pitch black. It has grayish eyes, and it looked like it's intangible. It comes like a dark black, like a dark ghost. And so Deku's yelling for them to stop. He is starting to get burned, and as soon as it entered his body, and circled around his heart, then went into his blood. His blood started to turn black, and his eyes were starting to bleed black. His skin started to turn gray, and yeah. And so, after a bit of him shaking and trembling, he passed out. And as soon as he woke up, he killed everybody around him in an instant with his newly acquired powers, I guess you could say. And he used this tentacle-ish blade-looking thing that was on his arm, and just decapitated them, and chopped off their arms, their legs. And then one of them, he completely just shredded to pieces. And one of them, he just slapped, and they fell into a tree. And as soon as their head hit the tree, they got a concussion. Then the tree fell on them. And then Deku's eyes turned back to normal. His skin was still gray. And he looked around him and disbelief. He still had his night vision, I guess you could say. And when he went to go look at the dead bodies, it was Ryu, Suzumiya, the teacher, and Kitsumi. And so he just threw up and just was thinking, why the fuck would they do this? And basically did see Suzumiya with this one book that she read all the time, and it looked like it was pretty fucking big and long. And so he basically went to look at these two books. One basically looked like super fucking black, and this other one looks like a journal. So he opened them both, and oh my fucking God. Man, I'm not editing it out, man. That's too fucking annoying. Anyway, so Deku looked in the books, and he opened near the end of the book, and it basically said to summon him / to attain to attain more power, you have to sacrifice one of your friends. And so they decided to sacrifice Deku. And then he looked into the journal and saw there was and he basically said that how they were going to plan to lure Deku there, stab him, which should knock him out if it doesn't use a fucking bat or chloroform, put him onto the fucking crucifix, and then burn him alive. And then open his chest to put the ghost inside of him, just so that they can see what type of power it has. And they definitely fucking saw, since they got slaughtered by it. And so Deku was just in disbelief, and his eyes turned black again and started to cry black. And he was only, what the fuck? And yeah. He basically put on this mask that was near them. He put on this mask that was near the church. And it's basically the one that you see in the picture. He put it on and he ran home. He knocked on the door. No answer. He banged on the door. Or like fucking 15 times. Then somebody fucking came out. It was Inko, obviously. And she basically welcomed me. And she basically asked Deku, is that you? And he basically said yes. And she basically said, okay. And she basically just examined Deku. His hair is still dark green, of course. Still like the one in normal canon and everything. And she basically told Deku to take off the mask since they're inside, and he took off the mask. And she saw his eyes bleeding black. She saw his eye black. And she was wondering, was this his quirk? And she basically asked what happened. Deku just couldn't speak, and he just wanted to be alone. And Deku basically said, I'll tell you in the morning. Deku went to sleep, and during this, that's fucking annoying. What time is it? It's 1:43. Okay. Oh, fucking god. Anyway, so Deku went to sleep, and during the dream, he basically saw this figure who looked like I said previously, or the wall rider from Outlast. That's basically exactly what it fucking looked like. Except that I had clothes on, and it looked. Yeah, except that I had Deku's exact clothes on. And so Deku basically was wondering what the fuck, and basically tried to talk into it, and it basically talked in broken English. Deku could barely understand what they were saying, and he basically walked over to it, and it walked over to him. And so Deku basically put his hand out, and when both of their hands touched, everything around them started to crumble. Yeah, it basically started to open up. Then Deku looked around him. There was multiple things around him, and Deku was wondering what the fuck, and then he basically looked behind him. Then he got stabbed. Then he woke up. There was a stab. There was blood on Deku's chest. Oh shit. Oh yeah, by the way, that when Deku got cut open, it already healed. Deku can heal from anything that's not fatal. And they also cannot be seen on cameras, so yeah. And there's a few other powers, I'm not going into that. Yep, so. And so, oh yeah, he also has peak human, strength, agility, stamina, yes, stuff like that. And yeah, so he woke up, and basically there was blood all around him where he got stabbed. There's blood on his back, but then it quickly healed. And Deku was wondering, like, how good is my healing factor? And basically, in the morning, Deku basically told Inko the gist of what happened, and she was confused. And so she basically try to look it up and basically see maybe what it would be. And she looked it up, and she didn't find anything. So basically she asked Deku if he wanted to go to the quirk doctor, because it might be a quirk, it might be something else. And so Deku said yeah. So they went to the quirk doctor, and they found out that Deku's blood was now black. His tears were obviously black. And his heart was... They also did a few x-rays and found out a few things. Found out most of his bones were pretty sturdy. They were way stronger than average people's.
he had peak human agility, peak human strength. He could probably, I guess you could say a little bit more. I guess you say a little like superhuman strength and superhuman agility, definitely. And so Deku, and so yeah, so he basically tested out Deku for things. He broke the machine, and he ran 100-meter dash in like 10 seconds. And yeah, what else? And they basically discovered that Deku can turn his hands into tentacles and his legs. They can basically probably use this for like armor or stuff like that, or just a whole weapon. And they found out it was really sharp. It could cut through cement. You should know how hard cement is. And so, yeah. Just to find out that he can heal from anything that's not fatal, because he healed from a stab wound near his kidney. He healed from it. He healed from getting stabbed by it basically told him like how he healed from like multiple things and how he healed from getting stabbed near the heart. But it took long. But it took a couple days too. And so they basically found out that so they found out that. And so they went to school and everybody's wondering like what the fuck. And they basically they wrote a note and basically that people had to decide to wear his mask. And he basically gave the note to the principal of the school. And he basically told all the teachers about it. Like Deku was going to go to. And it's basically like it's basically about this new quirk, so forget that. It's basically about his quirk, shit like that. And so Deku walked into the classroom and sat down in his normal seat with his mask on. This mask was see-through on the side where Deku's face was. But on the outside, it was not see-through. So Deku could see everything and everybody. However, they could not see his face. And so basically asking why the fuck is he wearing the fuck is it? A mask, and why is his skin gray? And why is his nails so long? Why is his nails black? Stuff like that. And Deku, he said that, Deku just didn't answer. And so Bakugo basically starts to get annoyed and basically said that, like, maybe this freak nerd or quirkless bastard, whatever, basically, like, did experiment on himself to get a quirk. Deku said that he didn't do that, stuff like that, and I just awakened my quirk. And Bakugo didn't believe him for a second, and basically asked, like, why would your quirk manifest this late? Stuff like that. And you probably just used drugs or some shit on yourself, stuff like that. And Deku was starting to get a bit annoyed, and so Bakugo basically went in for an explosion punch, whatever. Explosion hook, I hook. He left hook, and he basically was, and as soon as when he was about to hit Deku just dodged and punched Bakugo in the stomach / chest, and this sent Bakugo flying to the other side of the classroom and left an indent on his shirt and a little bit into his chest / neck. And everybody was wondering what the fuck, why did Deku do steroids or like some type of drug like that. And yeah, They're just really fucking surprised. What else? And yeah, I was really old. Deku didn't get suspended or anything like that. So that was just his normal strength. They really couldn't say that as his quirk. They knew that it was his quirk, but he technically didn't use his quirk. Since he didn't use his tentacles, which literally fucking kill somebody in an instant. So he only uses that if he has to, or if he doesn't have a knife near him to slice up vegetables and shit when he cooks. Oh god. And so yeah, that was really all. The teacher basically said how was the last day of school. Basically said how a couple people, and yeah, week passed. Teacher said how was the last day of school, shit like that, and like what schools are you guys going to apply for? And everybody said, who cares? We all know that each and every one of you are going to UA. And basically, he threw like, these papers for other jobs and stuff like that on the floor, and so, like 10-ish people like picked them up while everybody else was celebrating. Deku wasn't really thinking anything at the moment. Then he basically decided to leave. Bakugo tried to jump him. Deku dodged, and he basically threw the slammed Bakugo and to the floor, which left a crack into the concrete. And Bakugo, the games were kind of surprised, but not really though. And they basically tried to stab Deku. Deku basically got stabbed, and he took every single knife out of him. He was basically about to use his tentacle, but he knew that he shouldn't, since it would kill him. So he basically just put it around his arm, I guess, kind of like armor. And he punched them all, and he broke their nose and their teeth. And a couple of teeth fell out, and he fractured the jaw. And he basically did this all in one punch. And yeah, he basically, yeah, that was really all. They all got knocked out, and Bakugo basically tried to do Bakugo tried to do a explosion burst, or a AP grenade without the support hero gear. And so Deku tried to Bakugo tried to do an AP shot at Deku, and it just made this huge fucking explosion. Deku was caught in it, and he went flying into a wall that was on the other side of the school. And Deku's head started to bleed from the back and down to his neck. It healed shortly though, and as soon as Deku looked, Bakugo was coming towards him. Deku turned Deku's left arm that was already transformed into like this like armor-ish, whatever, starts to get more sharper. And when it punched Bakugo, it left this huge slash into him. He had multiple like big slashes in Bakugo. Each one of Deku's knuckles were really sharp from the tentacle. And when it punched Bakugo, it left like 3 slashes into him. I mean like 4 slashes into him. Yeah, 4 slashes into him. And so he was bleeding and everything and coughing up blood. Then Deku basically decided just to go. He took a ship cart home, and he basically was walking and was about to leave the tunnel, and this thing jumped out at him. Deku leaned back to dodge it. Deku basically caught it turned his arm into a tentacle, his right arm, and basically turned it into like a right arm, like a tentacle armor, like he did with Bakugo, and basically grabbed it and just slammed it into the ground multiple times. Oops, kind of like Hulk with Thor. And this was while he was doing that, it was also cutting it, and so it cut it eventually, and Deku turned it back to his normal tentacle, cut it into pieces, and yeah, he put it into like a little tentacle ball thing. And basically, All Might came and basically asked, I basically said, I'm here, shit like that. And basically asked, like, yo, man, have you seen a sludge villain? Deku said no, that he didn't. I mean, basically, all that. Deku said, yeah, he's right here. And was like, what do you mean? Deku let go. I mean, basically, took the tentacle ball apart, and he All Might saw the sludge villain for 1 second. Then Deku put him back inside the ball. Basically, Deku asked if All Might if he wanted him, and All Might said sure. Deku gave All Might the ball, and All Might basically asked like, what's your quirk? Deku said, I don't exactly know myself, but yeah. And so that was the end of that. There was no switch film attack either because Bakugo was at the school. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm gonna leave this off. And I hope you enjoyed, except for the minor fucking breaks for the people that kept coming to my fucking room. Anyway, so that's all. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.